This week, I just barely managed to get through this little book while moving house. Varamo is by an Argentinian author named Cesar Era, and it was translated this year by Chris Andrews. One of the things that immediately struck me about this book is that even though the title of the book, Varamo, is literally the name of the protagonist, Varamo kind of doesn't really do anything. He's more like a locust than a person. Things happen around him and to him, but he rarely perpetrates things. Whatever he does attempt seems to fall apart between idea and reality. Like the time he attempts to embalm a fish so that it looks like it's playing the piano. Not only does he struggle with the model of the piano, but halfway through embalming the fish, he realizes fish don't even have fingers, so they couldn't possibly ever play a piano. One thing we are assured Varamo has done, though, is written a masterpiece of Central American literature entitled The Song of the Virgin Boy. But how did this hapless government worker write that? Whoa! Why so judgmental about poor old Varamo? Perhaps a better question would be, how does anyone write anything? Maybe it's not that Varamo is somehow special, but that he was just lucky enough to be touched by inspiration. With a wandering episodic storyline, Cesar Era creates a universe where everything seems to happen by accident. So, is there really, as the narrator insists there is, an explanation for why everything happens the way it does? Maybe we're just looking for answers in all the wrong places. Towards the end of the novel, Varamo meets a group of publishers in a bar who insist that he could be totally capable of writing an excellent novel even though he's never written anything in his life. And they love the idea of Varamo writing a manual for embalming small animals even though he's never successfully done it himself. But maybe, as they seem to think, the poetry of instructions is enough. Maybe the form is an answer to itself, and it has its own aesthetic quality that has nothing to do with results. Yeah, maybe. Either way, this conversation highlights one of the major themes of the book. While some stories seem to be about the struggle between good and evil, this book seems to be about the struggle between fiction and reality. For a little book of fiction, this book is very interested in facts, all of the details that might lead to the circumstances that make Varamo write a masterpiece of poetry. But inspiration never really seems to come when you're looking for it, which makes it kind of hard to track down all the particulars. Is it possible to track down when Varamo leaves the world of results and lets poetry be enough? And isn't there a kind of poetry inherent in results anyway? Or vice versa, aren't there always a good set of instructions inherent in good poetry? That was Varamo by Cesar Era, and I'll see you next week.